Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to share with you my jigging, slow pitch jigging setup that I have. I usually like to carry a somewhere between 80 to 120 grams, considering we're fishing somewhere from 80 feet to about 130 feet should work. And then if there are faster drift or stronger current and wind, I would go a little bit heavier. This one is 180 grams. I think depending on your rod and reel setup and your braid, how many pounds you're using, whether you're using 20 pounds to 50 pounds, it's kind of up to you. You just got to try different size metal jigs to see which one works for you the best. Um, So the way I have set up is I usually like to go top and bottom. You could do two hooks or one hook, and a lot of time you'll have these Kevlar strings right here that they use. But these, if you have seen my previous videos, bluefish, any fish with sharp teeth will chew through this. And you're going to lose a lot of them, and it's not cheap. So I've modified using how Shimano slow pitch jigs are set up. Their hooks are always the Shimano jigs that come with their hook always has this shrink tubing. So I got the idea from them and decided to add those little shrink tubing. I have video on that, and then I especially like to add a swivel. So without the swivel, what happens is you're going to, I personally believe you're going to lose more fish on its way out, because if the fish and current and the way you're pumping, setting your hook and reeling it in, if there's some resistance without it, for instance, without the swivel, you're going to get somewhat of a resistance if you're hooking, and if this is turning as you reel it in, this will somewhat tangle up, and then there will be a certain point where it gets stuck right here, right? There's no, if it's spinning and spinning, it's going to get to a point where it could rip through the lip of the fish, or if it's as it moves, it might just come off because there are some pressure on it. So by putting the swivel, it gets rid of that. It gets rid of that pressure resistance altogether, because it's constantly, once you hook him, there's no way it could go out because it's turning with it. No matter how fast the bluefish or sea bass or even a eel turns and spins, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to tangle. It's not going to do anything because the swivel will do its job. Also, as you are jigging up and down, this swivel will help the jig to turn, and I feel like it'll spin more and present itself like a real fish, like a sick fish trying to swim off, right? See? You'll get that effect. Without the swivel, it could go so much. It'll still flap back and forth, but it won't have that. Especially if there's a strong water current, it won't have that effect, spinning effect, which I believe will attract more fish. So those are little tips. I would say I really don't think it matters if you have more than one hook. You could also go with one hook as well. The fish are quite big. I'm surprised that you would think big bait. I mean, again, you wouldn't think a size like this would be a little bit too big for a black sea bass, but one of the fishermen that was fishing with me he was casting big jumbo sea bass, and he offered me a spot which was about this size and this thick in diameter. I was like thinking that there's no way sea bass will swallow that. Maybe a bluefish, but guess what? I got a 18-inch sea bass because that thing completely swallowed the the fish, the spot cut bait, the whole thing without the head. It was about this big, maybe even bigger, and this thick, and it swallowed it, and I caught a big jumbo. So yeah, you never know. So again, what I'm trying to say is you don't need the hook on the bottom. The fish might swallow, and it will swallow the whole thing. This size is not that big, and it'll swallow the whole thing, and you'll be able to hook this on its lip or in the stomach. Same thing goes for this. It looks like a big jig, but you'll be surprised how sea bass and other fish, whether it's 13, 18, or 20 inch, will swallow the whole thing, and that's how you'll be able to hook it. So again, going back, you don't need both hooks. You could try one hook. I like to go with 2 hooks. At minimum, it helps. And again, don't be afraid to put baits on there. Sometimes it works with baits, sometimes without. Only difference, I like to go with baits, and if the bait's gone and I'll continue to jig, I've caught keeper size without the bait on there. And also, it gives me a sense of, if without the bait, if I'm jigging for quite a bit, if it's not biting, it just tells me either I need to change to another jig, or maybe go with fresh baits that the boat offers. So those are the things to consider when you're using metal jigs. Anyways, I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you guys later.